'Cause I'm happy, not lonely. I'm hopeful, not doubtful. Don't think that I'm lying. Why would I be? I'm waiting, not hasting. I'm grateful, I'm thankful for more than a lover. 'Cause I'm already loved by others.
Hi, I'm Michelle Hudspeth with RED, Rare Essential Discoveries. Thank you for joining me today. I thought I'd come outside. It's a beautiful spring day. Got a little creek there to the back of me. Beautiful. And one of my viewers, I have viewers now. One of my viewers asked, why did I pick the name Red? Is it just because my hair is red? And then how did I come up with the acronym? And I thought, yeah, that's a really good question, and it goes right in line with my journey of self-awareness. So I think I had mentioned 5 or 6 years ago I had hired a life coach through the Tony Robbins group, and I love them, highly recommended. I highly recommend them. And my life coach at the time was helping me figure out, who I am, and so that I could reach some goals that I had. And in the first conversation that we had, she's like, tell me about yourself. And so I did. I shared my name, my age, married or not married, children, where I was born, what I like to do, that kind of stuff. And she's like, okay, but I really want to know, who is Michelle? And I'm like, okay, let me see. You mean like what? And so she was like, I want to know what really makes you feel alive. I want to know what puts a smile on your face, what brings you joy. And this is really good because, you remember from the other video, I had been feeling very numb. I had not had a lot of feelings, good or bad. And I was trying to figure that out, which was one of the reasons that I thought, I'm going to hire a life coach to help me. Because we all have blind spots, and it helps when we can get someone else's objective viewpoint. It helps us see things that we can't otherwise see. So as I began to share these things, I started to realize how I used to feel long ago when I was very young, when I was a child, and I shared experiences and things with her that had kind of marked my life for good, really great, wonderful things. And so as we're talking, she's like, okay, this sounds fantastic. I love what I'm hearing. How often do you feel this same way in your day-to-day life? Like on a scale from 0 to 100, what percentage would you say that you feel the way that you're telling me? And I was like, oh boy, like 2% of the time? And even me, it was shocking to say to her, wow. And she's like, okay, who's showing up the other 98% of the time? And I thought, a good question. I don't know. I don't know. And so that began a journey of figuring out why I was not feeling those feelings more often, and what was I feeling. So again, it was helping me get in touch with the absence of those feelings. So as we talked, we talked about my day-to-day life. We talked about kind of, the majority of what my life consists of. And then that led to, okay, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're doing that? How do you feel when you're with those people? How do you feel when these things are happening? And I thought, wow, I don't feel too great. Majority of the time I feel like I'm not seen. I feel invisible, or I feel taken advantage of, or I feel down. And she said, okay, so let's name that person. Who is that person that 98% of the time you feel that you are? And I didn't know. And she started saying, well, let's think of some famous characters or people that you would identify, with that kind of feeling or the way that their life is going. And it was Cinderella. That's who I was showing up in life as, was Cinderella. And it was really sobering. I was like, wow, why am I showing up in my life as Cinderella? And my life coach was like, I don't know, but the answers are in you and I'll help you. So that really began such a wonderful journey of self-awareness. And basically, I realized that I felt and acted like Cinderella because that's what I believed. I believed that I only was there to help others and make others feel loved and supported and make others' dreams come true and make others' lives great. But that, I wasn't going to do that for myself. And I didn't even know how to do that for myself. And that led me to realize how little I valued myself. I really didn't think that I was worthy of doing those things for myself. And I really didn't feel significant. I only felt significant if I was helping the other people I loved in my life. And so therefore I didn't have very much joy. Most of my needs went unmet because I didn't even know what my needs were. And if I had have known what they were, I wouldn't have been able to tell anyone, And when you feel devalued, when you feel unloved, when you feel insignificant, you don't think you deserve to have your needs or wants met either. So it creates quite a problem and quite a cycle of pain. And so as I grew in my self-awareness journey, and my life coach was like, I'm going to help you so that we flip this. We have Red show up 98% of the time, and hopefully only Cinderella will only show up 2% of the time. And I thought, that would be great. So for a year, that's what she helped me do. She helped me figure out how to do that. So the first thing I realized is I had created a false self or a pseudo self out of my pain and out of my belief that I didn't really matter, that I only mattered to the extent that I could help someone else. They loved that I was pleasing. They loved that I was agreeable. They loved that I was supportive. They loved that I would work tirelessly to help you and not require anything of myself. And so in that way, I got my needs met for affirmation. People would want me to be their friend. They would want me to be around. They would want me to participate and be involved. And so I think that was my way of trying to meet my own needs, but in a very passive-aggressive way. And when you're not being your true self, you're sad. You really are. You're like, you just don't feel great. You just don't feel joy. You don't feel peace because you're out of alignment with yourself. It's like wearing clothes that are too big or too small. It just doesn't feel good. So that's kind of, what I had done. And so when I got through this journey, and I'm still on my journey, of course, I have not arrived. I'm still learning stuff about myself every day. But when I thought, I want to help people, I want to create a platform to help people, and I want to show up as Red, 100% of the time. And then I thought, Red could be an acronym to just help people. And the acronym I came up with was Rare Essential Discoveries, because it was the rare essential discoveries I figured out about myself that led to me living a more emotionally, mentally healthy life, which has brought me such peace and such joy. I mean, I'm the happiest I've ever been, and yet I'm sure I can be happier, but I can't imagine that. I mean, I have down days, yes. I have challenges and difficulties like everybody else, but but I show up differently, and I have different expectations because I am being authentic and real. So that's why I came up with the word RED, and that's how I came up with the acronym of Rare Essential Discoveries. And so my hope is, and my heart is, that by sharing my journey and sharing my story, that then you will begin to discover those rare essential things about you. And in doing so, you will heal and you will grow and you will then be able to show up as your best self. So I hope that answers your question to the viewer that submitted it. If you have any other questions, please put them in the comment below. I do have an email address that you can write to me at. It is info-about-red, so INFOABOUTRED @gmail.com. I would love to answer any questions you have, help you in any way. Until next time, we'll talk more about Cinderella and Red and the journey that led me on. But until then, see you later. Bye.